Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. And Overwatch is going to remove the restriction on hero limits in the next quick play hacked mode. Oh dear. Also, there's a bunch of other changes. We've got the Cowboy Bebop crossover collaboration thing has been announced. And yeah, I guess the TLDR is basically half the heroes are going to get changed next Tuesday in the balance patch. And the DPS passive is being reduced from 20 to 15%. Anna's grenade is going up from 60 to now 90 healing and damage caused. And yeah, there's a couple of other changes. Oh, and Wrecking Ball is getting a mini rework as well. So yeah, but that's coming in Season 10. Let's break all of this down and let me show you what we're looking at. So what we've got is this, right? It's a director's take. This came out yesterday. And it's Aaron Keller talking about mixing up the meta in mid-season. So let's break this down and take a look at it, because I think there's some interesting things here, especially with the DPS passive. So he says, hello, wonderful people. Hello, Aaron, hello. And welcome to the mid-season 9 director's take. This season had the most significant changes to the game that we've made in a long time, which is a fair statement to make, because, you know, I think probably October 2022 was the last time there were massive changes to this game, and that was the launch of Overwatch 2. I actually think that Season 9 is a bigger change, though, than that, because obviously, you know, it's made DPS super strong with the introduction of the DPS passive, the increase of the size of projectiles and hit scan bullets. It's like, it's a totally different game. Anyway, when we launched Season 9 in February, we wanted to make sure to keep an eye on your feedback to react to what we saw. We had 2 patches so far, and we have another one, which is quite the stunner, coming up next week. Let's get into that. No, wait. Let's talk about where we're at, and then let's get into that. Okay. So, yeah, okay, whatever. That's the preamble. Let's get into this. So he says, the changes made this season were designed to address multiple issues in the game, based largely in part on your feedback. So based largely on your feedback in part. Just always say that. Always be like, yeah, it's based on what you guys wanted. Yeah, we gave it you, so you can't moan at us. And sorry for knocking my microphone as well. We're happy with how these modifications have shifted the game. Yeah. But there are 2 areas we want to improve a bit. The damage passive and how some individual heroes have landed after the shake-up. We think the direction we're heading in is correct, but agree that some changes still need to be ironed out. Okay, and of course, with this season, we've got the new reworked competitive mode, which is a pretty big update as well. So he says, let's start with the damage passive. It's had quite a big impact on the game. Yeah, it was designed to push our damage heroes to the forefront of a fight. In terms of securing kills, it's definitely doing this. Overwatch is about eliminating the opponents and sending them back to spawn. So we think it's healthy for damage heroes to have a large impact here, but it may be pushed a bit too far. There can be moments where it feels a bit too dangerous, even as a tank, to expose yourself, or where your health can burn down quicker than expected while being healed. One of the goals of the recent health increase was to soften some of the burst damage in the game. This is one of those effects that can be very difficult to tune just right, so we're going to take a small step back in the next patch to lessen the healing reduction from 20 to 15%, and we'll keep an eye on it. So this is quite interesting, right? Because think about the way this passive works. This passive is instantly applied. As soon as you hit a target, as any DPS hero, it has minus 20% healing instantly. Now, when you look at a comment like this, even as a tank, to expose yourself, you know, it's dangerous. Yeah, no one should expose herself, especially not in public. Anyway, if you expose yourself, you instantly get shot by DPS. You've got the minus 20%. This is where I would argue for, actually, wouldn't a better system be when you take a certain percentage of damage or a certain amount of damage, then it's applied to you. It's not instantly applied as soon as you shoot a target. There's probably game development stuff at play here where it's just easier to do it instantly rather than having some sort of other system which tracks all of this going on in the background. I don't know. Or they just think for design reasons this is better because it's instant. It feels snappier. But also, there's no visual representation for this in the game when you've got it on you, so you don't know. But if you're taking damage, then yeah, you're going to have it on you because the DPS is shooting you. So whereas if it was a system that built up, you know, you was taking damage. Uh-oh, now I'm glowing red or something. Well, you wouldn't glow red because that would just destroy the visual clarity of the game even more. But, you know, something happens to you where you realize, uh-oh, I've got the minus healing on me. Now I need to, you know, play a bit more safer. Surely that'd be a better thing, right? Be more tactical. But I don't know. But what they're doing here is reducing it down to 15%. So you've still got that instant application of it. It's still going to be annoying for tanks. It's still going to be annoying for supports because you know, sometimes you just stand there and it feels like you're pumping healing into a target and you're not really getting anything out of it because it's got the minus 20% on. Soon that's going to be minus 15, but that's still quite high. So I still think this is going to have a massive impact on the game. But I just think that's interesting to discuss, isn't it? Like the way that they decided to implement this passive. Anyway, let's move on. So with balance, we're touching roughly half of the heroes in the roster in this patch. The power of heroes moved around a lot this season, and while we think this type of change can be healthy for the game, we'd still like to make sure that all heroes feel viable, which is impossible really at the end of the day, isn't it? But, you know, they're trying to aim for that. We'll release the full set of patch notes in a few days. Also, don't drink sparkling water. I'm going to choke. I need to mute. Good God. Don't drink sparkling water before you want to record a video. Oh, Lord. Anyway, the power of the heroes moved around a lot this season. While we think this type of change can be helpful for the game, we'd still like to make sure that all heroes feel viable. We'll release a full set of patch notes in a few days, but we'd like to get into a few more of the notable changes we're making on here. I'm sure some people have got access to these patch notes already, but who knows what they'll be. But Aaron is teasing the fact that they're like incredible, so we'll just need to say it's going to be a stunner of a patch, so we'll see. But he is actually giving us some of the more spicier changes here, so maybe it's not going to be that much of a spicy patch. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to this. So on the support side, we're making a fairly significant change to Anna's grenade. Its damage and healing will move from 60 to 90 health. Now, this sounds ridiculous, right? Like totally over the top. Oh, what the hell? That's like a 30. I mean, that's mental. You got to remember though, everyone's health has increased, and Anna's grenade can feel a little bit limp in the game at the moment. So I actually think this is okay, right? Also, Anna's one of the best heroes in the game, one of the best designed heroes. She was the first new hero to get added into the game. It's just incredible, and the fact that she's still powerful, insane. I mean, it's because of Anti-Nade and her ability to apply hit scan healing and massive healing output, and even though that's reduced in this season, but you know, she's got a lot of options and sleep, incredible, ultimate, incredible. Anyway, the idea of this is to give her more self-survivability. Anna is an interesting hero with one of the most played in the entire game, so we're hoping that this adjustment brings her to a place where she feels viable but not dominant. Okay. We're also making a few adjustments to Lifeweaver. So here's the thing, right? It's like, it wasn't the point of Season 9 to reduce massive amounts of healing and reduce burst damage. And they're now giving back loads of healing. It feels like, I don't know, it seems stupid. But look at this for Lifeweaver. So we're going to help with this healing burst potential. And who the hell has proofread this? What is this? Anyway, his maximum heal will increase from 70 to 80. That's massive, like an extra 10 on his main heal. That's on maximum charged heal. The maximum charge time, though, is increasing from 1 to 1.15 seconds. So again, it's this like Blizzard, we give and we take, because that's the way our balance philosophy is. Along with the reduced damage roll passive, we think both he and Mercy will be more reliable moving forward. So they're just adding more healing back into the game, basically. I don't know, you know, are we just going to end up at a point where the DPS passive is now 5% or something? You know what I mean? We're just back to square one. Who knows? Anyway, there's some other changes to Doomfist and Mauga. And the Doomfist change here, I think, is really good. So anyway, let's get into this. So Doomfist and Mauga are two of the tanks getting a tune-up. Meteor Strike's minimum damage will increase from 15 to 50. Now, that's massive, right? I mean, it might not sound massive, but it is. It even says that, while this might not seem like a big change, the amount of damage this ultimate does scales from the edge of its effect to the center and should result in a lot more guaranteed damage. Ultimately, we want Meteor Strike to give Doomfist or his team the ability to follow it up and secure eliminations more reliably. So, interesting here. They don't want you using this as an escape. It's still used as an escape. I know you've got a fully charged fist and all of that good stuff when you use it now, but they're saying, look, we're going to give you the ability here to basically kill someone. So just find a squishy, slam them, and then engage. And we want your team to follow up. It's a laudable sort of goal for Doomfist, but we'll see what this does. But I think that's actually a really big buff for Doomfist. Now, Mauga gets a buff as well to make him more tanky, because everyone wants that. Anyway, Mauga is getting changes to his cardiac overdrive ability. Its duration will decrease from 5 to 4 seconds, and its cooldown will decrease from 12 to 10 seconds. Additionally, it will fill his passive overhealth by 100. We want the ability to be more reliable and more consistently give Malga additional survivability. Malga will also receive a buff to his overrun. The stomp damage will increase from 45 to 60. Again, that is a big change. It's only 15 damage, but that is a big change. And that's, again, sort of like the Doomfist change. We want you to just run in. We want you to be using overrun to go into the enemy and then smash someone, and then we want your team to follow up. And guess what? We're going to give you this 100 overhealth. We're going to give you a decrease in the cooldown on overdrive, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. But the thing with Malga is I don't like Malga at all. He was stupidly OP when he launched into the game. I think his entire kit, I think the way he works is just stupid for a tank, because it makes him, ultimately, the best thing for him to do is to just shoot the enemy tank non-stop, brain dead, and that's not great. But I don't know. They're buffing Malga because I guess he's a new hero and they've got to sort him out. A tank we're not touching in this patch, though, is Wrecking Ball, and we have a small rework coming to our lovable yet deranged. I mean, I find that offensive. Deranged Hammond in Season 10. I actually think he's okay, to be honest, Wrecking Ball is, but they've got a rework coming for him. It's only a minor one, a small one. It's not some massive rework, but it'd be interesting to see what that actually looks like. Aaron then says, expect all of these changes and more to go live for our mid-season update next Tuesday, March the 12th. I'd like to reiterate that we'll be watching the game and listening to your feedback when these changes go live and react accordingly. In fact, we're already talking about some of the modifications that we'll be making in Season 10. We're also going to be running our next quick play hacked later this season. This one is called Double Trouble, and it removes the one hero limitation per game, or in-game. Roll queue will still be active, but this means that players can choose two of the same heroes for both damage and support. The hero limit was something that was implemented in Overwatch early in the original launch. At the time, we didn't have roll queue in the game, and players could create a team of 5 Winstons and a support, which was generally a Lucio. We called this strategy Quinston, and it won our first international tournament. However, now that we do have roll queue in the game, the possibility of creating comps like this is gone, giving players more freedom in which hero they choose and more creativity in putting comps together. That could be great. We can't wait to see what you come up with. That's it for this update. We're looking forward to next week's patch, and let's make a great game. So my initial reaction to that is just, I think they've run out of ideas. They've just gone, oh yeah, we've got this quick play hack thing. Let's just remove the hero restriction and just push it out the door. It's because it's easy to do that. We can do it in 2 seconds in the editor. Off you go. There's the rule set. Go play. And then we'll just fake that we're listening to people and their feedback about it, because there is no way this goes into the game. Because can you imagine 2 Baps as support? You'd have 2 lamps. That would be hell on earth. Or imagine playing against 2 tracers. It would be hell on earth. Even if there were 4 tracers in a game, that would be hell on earth. This is going back to Overwatch 1, when they just used to be, everyone would swap the tracer. You'd have 6 tracers, like in overtime, everyone trying to get back to the point. It was, thems were the days. I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, good Lord. Okay, so I've noticed actually there's 200 comments on this post. So I don't normally get to do this, because normally, we'd have done the video immediately as the update came out. But now times are different, and we can see what people are saying. So let's just see what they say. Now remember, this is the forums, and the forums are like some crazy things go on in the forums. So this person says, nice, DPS passive from 20 to 15. Okay, nothing about Iliari, easily the worst character in the game. I'm joking to death, good Lord. TLDR, they are buffing healing and burst damage. I suppose they're in love with these giant projectiles and want to build the game around them. Okay. Worse than that, Winston, Tracer, Lucio, and Lucio comp. 2016 flashbacks. It's very concerning that Junk and Sim weren't mentioned, despite being by far the worst DPS in the game. What's interesting is, this is the problem with Overwatch. People get so, into it. Like, this person has got a Junkrat, avatar, and they're moaning about Junkrat changes. Obviously they will. You know what I mean? They're they want their hero buffed. This is why it's hard to take feedback. I'm glad they're doing some kind of improvements for Doom and Malga, but wow, Meteor Strike's minimum damage was 15 damage. Yeah, you've been listening to the game. You see what I mean? It's just anyway, let's forget this. It's not great. I thought it would have been funny, but it's not. But anyway, there's some reaction. Apparently there's now 256 comments here. Good Lord. Okay, so next up, we've got the Cowboy Bebop cross-collaboration. Now, I'm going to be totally honest here. I don't even know what I'm looking at. I've never watched this show in my life. I don't know what the characters are, but I did ask people on Twitter. I was like, what is this good? Is this good or bad or what? And everyone was like, no, this looks really good. It looks identical to the source material. And yeah, so I think if you're into this, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to really love it. But I guess this is just the way Overwatch is now with its monetization. Yeah, I know the store's like not great and there's a lot of recolored skins and stuff. But these type of like total overhauls with a different IP to heroes. I mean, the skins were great for Le Seraphim. Obviously, I didn't, I'm not a follower of Le Seraphim. So again, to me, there wasn't that connection. And that's the difficulty with these. If you have got a connection to the underlying IP they're collaborating with, then yeah, you're opening your wallet and going crazy. But if you don't, they sort of just, they go over your head. And this really has gone over my head. I'm not saying this is bad or whatever. I don't think it is. I think actually it looks identical to the trailers or the intro that I've seen for Cowboy Bebop. Obviously, I can't show you that and I can't play sound because I'll just get copyright struck into oblivion and then there'll be lawyers taking me down and I'll be ruined. So I've got to be careful with that. But yeah, I mean, this is just what Overwatch is, right? It's monetization, or it's direction as a game. It's become a platform to facilitate these large collaborations with other brands. And you can imagine, like, when they go to, let's just play this again, but when they go to, lobby companies to have this sort of integration, that they've got a very nice sort of deck that they show them, like, yeah, look at this, we can do this in our game, we can cross over with our characters, we've got this, we've got that, and they've got all of this going on and blah, 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 and you get a percentage of the sales. You can see how it's like, it's just corporate behavior. But yeah, I don't know. It just depends what the next one is. Like, I think when I was looking at this, if this was like a Warhammer 40k collaboration, I would be like, oh my God, I need it. So I do get why they do it. But when I look at this one, I'm like indifferent to it. There is something which is quite funny though. Right. I want to show you this Overwatch Cavalry tweak because it's made me laugh. This is, so this apparently is free. So Crunchyroll, who obviously stream, or one of the places where you can watch Cowboy Bebop, have actually revealed that I'm going to get this wrong, but I'm going to say Ein. It might be N, but I think it's Ein. Wrecking Ball will be available as a free unlock when the event launches. And Ein is a corgi. So this is a corgi version of Hammond, and you get it for free. So that's probably worth the price of admission alone. Anyway, the last thing I'll say about price and all of this stuff is, these skins will be expensive. They're crossover skins. They'll be the price of essentially a game. And if you guys have been following me recently, I've been playing a lot of Helldivers. That game's 35 quid. Would you buy an entire game or would you just buy a skin? I don't know. But again, like I said, I'm not into this IP, but I would be like into Warhammer 40k, so I'd be like buying the skin, so I understand. I understand. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the video, and I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. See you soon.